afternoon. Another commissioner resigns. Former senator defends administration of former Governor Wike. Lawyer says Governor Fubara has no right to withhold local government funds. Fresh strike looms as ASU meets over poor treatment of demand. On the foreign scene, 2 killed in New Caledonia as riot escalate after Paris vote. I'm Ifechukwumoyin with the news. Now, the Rivers State Commissioner for Education, Chinedu Mom, has resigned again. In a letter dated 15th May and addressed to Governor Siminalayi Fubara and Secretary to State Government, Professor Mom claimed his workspace has now become toxic and no longer guarantees a favorable environment to enable him realize his set target for the education sector in the state. He also said there is a loss of trust, animosity, and sharp division among colleagues in the same cabinet, which he described as unhealthy. He wished Governor Fubara's administration well. Another development of former Senator Olaka Nwogu is insisting that the immediate past administration of former Governor Nyesom Wike ran a transparent government. Senator Nwogu, who represented Rivers Southeast Senatorial District, said this on Arise Television today. He said former Governor Nyesom Wike paid contractors and initiated numerous projects which he left for Governor Siminalayi Fubara to inaugurate within his first 100 days in office. Senator Nwogu described the move to probe the past administration of the former governor as a witch hunt aimed at escalating the political tension in the state.
When Wike ran government, he gave periodic accounting. He accounted for the resources of Rivers State copiously. Even when the federal government released money to governors, it was Wike that said, I did this with this money. He always pinpointed projects and tied money to them. You assuming but not conceding that some jobs were not paid. Is it not how government is run? That day, some contractors will not have finished their job. You do not pay them, you pay them by the money.
Senator Nwogu, while speaking on moves by the current administration to allegedly recover properties following the probe, clarified that former Governor Wike allocated a piece of land to him at OGRA Port Harcourt.
I applied to the Dengon land state. Most of those accommodation they had left. The land, I paid for the land, I paid for a grant rent, I got every paper documented. I built within the period we were mandated to build because it was part of urbanization of the area. So if you didn't build, you stood the risk of losing that land. I built within the period. I'm as current as anyone can be in all my dues and fees as far as that my land is concerned.
Also speaking on Arise Television, the leader of Simplified Movement Obiakpo Local Government Area, Chijioke Ihuo, maintained that those opposing the probe of the former administration are scared of losing some of their property.
Wike also did it to Amechi when he became governor. He probed Amechi government. What goes around comes around. He can't eat a cake and have it. Those who are coming to defend the former governor are because they are benefited from him. Everybody knows what happened in Rivers State. A lot of properties that belongs to the state government was ceded to private individuals. There are a lot of irregularities in the past administration. And we are saying, let the former administration of Chief Barrister Nyesom Wike be probed and let the properties that were ceded to his cronies, his friends, be returned back to the Rivers State government.
In the meantime, Rivers State Commissioner for Information Joe Johnson says projects outlined by the state government to mark Governor Fubara's 1 year in office were not inherited from the administration of former Governor Nyesom Wike. Mr. Johnson said this on Nigeria Info FM's Morning Crossfire today.
The road we commissioned yesterday, the Bubu Road that was commissioned by His Excellency Dr. Alex Oti, the Governor of Abia State, is initiated on the 14th of August. And by 14th of August, you will agree with me that the government of Governor Siminalayi Fubara had already came on the 29th of May. So barely 2 months after he initiated that project, and it was to be delivered in 8 months. And it's been delivered.
Mr. Johnson also spoke about other projects that are to be flagged off by Governor Fubara. He said the project will enhance economic stability and showcase the potential of the state to attract foreign investors.
all the electrical and heavy duty transformers and all that. We're trying to create a market for them. These were promises by the governor during his electioneering. He was going to relocate them. Then we shall have the Rivers State Economic Summit. It's an investment summit where we're going to be bringing in investors both within and outside country. It is going to showcase the potentials of Rivers State, what we have in the agro chain, what we have the oil and gas, tourism, other areas, housing, as it were, to be able to bring in those who will come into all the things we're talking about, CNG.
Moving on, a senior advocate of Nigeria, Wahab Shitu, says Governor Siminalayi Fubara has no right under the law to withhold the state local government funds. Speaking on Channels TV, Mr. Shitu said Fubara's action contravened the country's laws. He also explained that the constitution acknowledged the framework of democratically elected local government councils, saying that it mandates that each state must enact a corresponding law. Away from that, a group of Christians in Kaduna State under the umbrella of Christian Solidarity Worldwide Nigeria on Tuesday staged a peaceful protest to demand the immediate release of Leah Sharibu and other abducted school children still in the custody of bandits and terrorists in the northern part of the country. The convener of the group, Reverend Yunusa Madu, called on the Nigerian government under President Bola Tinubu to do the needful in rescuing Sharibu and other abducted schoolgirls still languishing in terrorist dens across the north. Still to come, fresh strike looms as ASU meets over poor treatment of demands. Stay with us. Of the news, the Academic Staff Union of Universities ASU has threatened another nationwide strike to protest absence of governing councils in all federal universities across the country, among other issues the federal government has yet to address. ASU President Professor Emmanuel Osodeke issued the threat at an ongoing press conference at the union's National Secretariat in Abuja. The federal government has suspended the controversial cybersecurity levy on electronic banking transactions. Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris disclosed this while briefing State House correspondents after the Federal Executive Council (FEC) meeting at the State House in Abuja on Tuesday. Now, he said the policy is undergoing a review. In other news, the Miners Association of Nigeria Rivers State Chapter has elected and inaugurated new executives to pilot the affairs of the body for a 5-year tenure. Addressing newsmen shortly after the swearing-in ceremony in Port Harcourt, the new chairman of MAN in the state, Hope Dan Opusingi, said his administration will fight illegality in the mining sector.
They will tell you they are miners. They don't have a license. They don't have a site. They don't have any royalty they pay. They owe federal government nothing. Their business is to extort these operators. Those who the law says they are operators. Go to their site, intimidate them, collect 700, collect 1 million, and they go. That must stop. And if we find anybody doing that, even if the Ministry of Mines and the Mines Inspectorate in Port Harcourt there, we will make sure the minister knows about it. Because the minister, as I know it today, it does not want to hear illegality like that. Anybody reported, he will fire the person, and we will do everything to bring them to account. While we also rebuke our members to do the right thing.
On the spot, the national president of Miners Association of Nigeria, Dele Ayanake, while delivering a keynote address, called for synergy between the state government and the association, adding that the operational regulations must follow the law.
Solid minerals is not the only resource we have in Nigeria. We have the oil and gas, and all this why the states are having the oil and gas, they have been aligned with our democracy to make sure that they give the federal government that authority to actually control. So if we want to now allow some states now want to control their own solid minerals, that will not augur well for the sector. In fact, it will be counterproductive. We don't want any of our chapter to fight with the state government. We should collaborate with them, sensitize them, and let them know their bounds in terms of regulations.
And now in business, the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, has pleaded not guilty to the allegation of approving the printing of 684.5 million naira at the rate of 18.96 billion naira. Mr. Emefiele said this during his arraignment today by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, on a 4-count charge before Justice Marian Aneni of the FCT High Court. As you may know, the EFCC alleged that Mr. Emefiele disobeyed the direction of law during his implementation of the Naira swap policy of the administration of former President Buhari. In entertainment, Nigerian singer Habib Okikiola, popularly known as Portable, has slept in a police cell following his failure to meet the bail conditions set for his release after he was arrested for refusing to pay the 14 million naira debt he incurred when he purchased a G-Wagon from a car dealer in Lagos State. And now in sports, Toby Amuson is set to face American hurdler Kendra Harrison in a highly anticipated women's 100-meter hurdles at the 2024 Adidas Atlanta City Games on Saturday, May 28. Now, this follows her performance of 12.40 seconds at the 2024 Jamaican Athletics Invitational in Kingston, Jamaica on Saturday.
And now, we'll bring you news from around the world.
At least 2 people have been killed and hundreds injured in the Pacific territory of New Caledonia as riots continue in response to the French Parliament giving French residents them more voting rights. Protests over the issue first erupted into violence on Monday night, with people reportedly torching cars, setting buildings alight, and attacking police stations.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
That's a wrap on the news this afternoon. Before we go, let's have a look at the major stories. The Rivers State Commissioner for Education, Chinedu Umom, has resigned again. A former Senator, Olaka Nwogu, has defended the administration of former Governor Wike. A lawyer, Wahab Shitu, says Governor Fubara has no right to withhold local government funds. A fresh strike is looming as ASU meets over poor treatment of demand. On the foreign scene, 2 people have been killed in New Caledonia as riots escalate after Paris vote. The news was edited by Martha Okirinkem. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808 721 7215. I'm Ifichuku Monyali. Many thanks for listening.